Hey, welcome to BJJ Mental Models, episode 66. I'm Steve Kwan.
I'm Matt Kwan.
BJJ Mental Models is your guide to a conceptual and intelligent jiu-jitsu approach. And if you are a regular listener of ours, you're probably pleasantly surprised to find out there's a second episode this week. So normally we launch on Monday. This time we're actually launching on Wednesday because we couldn't wait. We've got a massive announcement for you guys, something we've been working on for a while, and we're really proud to share it with you. We wanted to give this its own dedicated episode so that we could talk about it, field any questions that you might have, and really get you excited for what we think is actually going to be the next level for BJJ Mental Models. So Matt, do you want to introduce this or should I?
Yeah, well, with the COVID-19 outbreak, we've had a lot of time to really focus on BJJ Mental Models, and this is something that's been on the back burner for a while, but now we've had some time to actually put through with it. So we'd like to announce that we're actually going to be starting our own online academy, and it's going to be very exciting. It's all the conceptual stuff that we've been doing. We're really dedicating ourselves to taking the best stuff from all the best practitioners in the world and adding our own conceptual approach and making it as the best online academy that we can.
Yeah, I think there's a big opportunity here. I know a lot of you have reached out to us and said, hey, I wish I could come train with you guys, but of course it's so hard to travel. But I mean, look at the world today. We're living in a time where in-person training is just not happening. I have seen a whole bunch of schools who have transitioned to a virtual model, but although they're trying it, I mean, the reality is we've been doing this stuff for well over a year now. This is our wheelhouse. And Matt and I were thinking about how we could go beyond just providing podcast content and actually provide a more complete jiu-jitsu experience. I mean, unlike before, we've got the time now, so we want to make this a thing. We want to make it a real focus of ours, and we are going to offer a full virtual academy. Anyone can join. If you want to sign up right away, we greatly appreciate it. And we want to provide a whole complete experience. So this is not like Gracie Academy where, there's some things you can do online, but ultimately you've got to come in for certain activities. We want to cover the whole gamut. We know that we're all under self-quarantine right now, so we will get you all the way through your jiu-jitsu journey without having to leave your house. That is our goal here.
Yeah, who knows how long this outbreak could go on for. It could be 2 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. And they say it takes 10 years to get a black belt, right? So one thing we want to really do is not waste your time. You could spend 10 years at home, not training, or in that 10 years, you could earn a black belt. And Steve and I are really embracing the role of being your professor if you are willing to support us. So it's something that we're really interested in and trying to get you to your black belt goals.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? Like Matt said, this could go on for a year, could go on for 2 years, could go on for a decade. I mean, that's a long time to be stuck in isolation. You don't want a situation where we all go back into society and you find out that all of your friends have been improving through virtual training and you're now in a situation where you're 10 years behind. Like, you can go from white belt to black belt in that time period, and our goal is to get you there. I mean, I personally, as I've talked about on the podcast, have taken like a year and a half layoff in the past, and man, I could have used that time at home to train myself up to black belt, and I would have been a black belt way before where I actually got there. So our goal is to use all of these conceptual approaches, bring them to you in a virtual format so that you can get to professor status online, fully online, completely from the comfort of your own home. Now, you're probably wondering, how is this actually possible? Well, we already know two things. First of all, we know that this model that we use works for you because you've already told us that you gain a lot of knowledge and a lot of value from the podcast. So theoretically, we understand that just by turning up the volume and giving you more content, we can fully supplant the in-person training experience just through virtual content. The other thing we know is that there's precedent, right? Because Gracie Academy has achieved a very successful virtual model, but we don't think that they took it the complete way. They were kind of held back by this crutch of society and the Gracie family expecting these old legacy in-person traditions that no longer apply. We live in a very different world now, and we can shed those old incorrect beliefs, and we can show you how just through pure virtual technology online, you can achieve the same level of mastery that old school practitioners would achieve in a gym.
Yeah, like this is an exciting time because now we actually have the technology and the knowledge to be able to bring this type of stuff to you guys. Like one thing about the Gracie Academy is to get a black belt, you have to go down and visit them.
Yeah,
in
which
their
sounds
academy.
like a great way to get COVID-19. Like you're locked in a room with 100 people who knows where they've been. You're all doing belt tests, and then you all pack up back on your planes and go home. That's not good.
Yeah.
We do this fully remotely, first for efficiency, but also for your safety, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, forget about commuting to your black belt ceremony. It takes away the hassle of commuting to class every day.
Yeah.
Like I think back to when I was a white belt and how I had to drive myself to the gym every day and how big of an inconvenience that was. You can do all of this in your living room and get to black belt excellence under our program.
Yeah. So rather than spending an hour driving to jiu-jitsu and an hour back, that's 2 extra hours that you could spend training online from the comfort of your own home. I mean, we all know that some of these guys, they get to black belt in like 3-4 years, and you wonder, how is that even possible? Well, it's because they train 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times harder than the rest of us. If you take all of that commute time and you funnel that into jiu-jitsu by watching BJJ Mental Models content, then of course you're going to be better than someone who only trains in the gym for an hour every day, right? It's just math.
Guys, don't be fooled by like really shitty programs like the First Strike from Ari Bolden, where, you know, he claims 17 moves and you're going to be, you know, like he's saying that he can make you alpha in a weekend or, you know, in 2 weeks or whatever it takes. Like it takes 10 years to get a black belt, but
alpha is a way of life. It's not something that you can just do in a course.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to give you alpha status, but we'll give you black belt excellence. And that's, you know, we have a lot of great ideas coming down the pipe for how we're going to do that, but we want to make sure that your experience is completely personalized, completely comfortable at home under your own conditions, and taking away a lot of the hassles like, you know, different training partners, injuries, you know, uncomfortable situations that are quite honestly not even necessary to reach the black belt, but more just listening to our instruction, paying attention to the concepts and seeing what we have to offer. Should we talk about how we're planning on tiering system?
So let's talk about the structure here, because this is obviously going to be different from anything that you've done before. So of course we have the BJJ Mental Models podcast, and of course that's going to be part of the required learning material. In addition to that, we're also going to provide a fully online virtual classroom format with videos structured to maximize your learning potential. It's going to provide a lot of solo drills and a lot of drills against a theoretical opponent. Of course, we won't have real opponents because that defeats the purpose. But you'll get a lot of opportunity to practice some very, very high-level solo drills that all tie back to the concepts that we've positioned here. Of course, there's going to be different belt tiers, and we're going to, at the adult level, use the same belt structure that everyone uses. So a black belt through the virtual BJJ Mental Models Academy is exactly the same as like a black belt from Danaher or Renzo Gracie. There is literally no difference whatsoever. And the main difference is how the belt testing happens. So the one thing that we need to solve for is making sure that we have a concept of community and of a professor and student relationship. So that's really what we're trying to achieve. As part of how this is going to work, when you are ready for your next belt, or actually even for a stripe, there's 2 things you have to do. One is that you need to make sure that you are obviously technically competent enough. So we're going to ask you to put together a YouTube channel where you record ample videos of yourself diligently drilling and showing us like your shrimp escapes, your air triangles, all of the stuff. And that's how we're going to tell. Like Matt and I have been doing this for a long time. If you show me your shrimps and your upas, like we can tell your skill level. So this is going to be
just tell you can get out.
Yeah.
Or if you need some work and you can't, you know, if you don't understand distance management, we'll be able to see from your bridges.
Yeah. And frankly, I mean, we're all in quarantine. So if you can't get out, it doesn't matter because there's no opponent. So like it's all theoretical at this point, right? It's not real anymore. So we will be there to give you that instruction. But the other part that, and this is the thing that really makes the BJJ Mental Models Academy unique, is that we are going to create the sense of community that we've all lost because we're in self-quarantine. So what we're going to do, in addition to allowing you to engage with other students, we're going to require you as part of your training and as part of your promotion to participate in the community. Now, specifically what this means is we're going to grade you not just on your on your skill level, but we're also going to grade you on the quality of your social media posts, specifically the ones about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we need to make sure that you're hitting a certain quota of these. We need to see really positive quality Instagram, Facebook, and even Twitter posts from all of our students. Additionally, we need to know that you're engaging with people. And the best way for us to measure that is referrals. So we will require you at every level to bring your friends and new students into the gym. It is an expectation, of course, that you contribute to the community. And the best way to do that is by bringing in new students to the virtual academy. That's how we bolster our ranks, and that's how we increase the network and the quality of the team. It's by bringing in more people. So when you are ready for that next test, again, there's 3 things you're going to need. You're going to need a YouTube channel where we grade you based on the quality of your performance. And don't worry, it doesn't need to be like a webinar or a webcast where we talk to each other. Just record some YouTube videos and we'll watch them and we'll just rate them with a thumbs up or a thumbs down right on YouTube so that you know what we thought. We also need you to post quality content on social media, and we need you to refer several of your friends to the gym, and they need to accept a new membership with us. And based on all of those things, you'll receive credits for each of these actions, and then based on that, you'll be eligible for your next belt. After, of course, you pay the belt fee.
That's right. It's really simple, guys. To get to black belt excellence, each belt is going to take 400 credits. And each time you reach 100 credits, you get a stripe. So the way that this works is between the social media, the YouTube channels, and the referrals, every time you make a social media post, you're going to get 5 credits. Every time you get a referral, you bring someone in, you're going to get 10 credits. Every time that you make a YouTube channel that we approve, you're going to get 5 credits. And this is how we're going to bring you along your journey towards black belt throughout all the different belts. And you can know that because of the content we're giving you is 100% legit, you're going to be just as legit as, say, a John Danaher black belt, Keenan Cornelius black belt, Andre Galvao black belt.
I mean, I'm proud to declare, of course, that I'm actually the top ranked Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on Belt Checker in British Columbia. So like
that's right.
You're really dealing with like the best and the best, because John Danaher is not ranked, Oliver Taza not ranked, Rob Bernacki not ranked. Like, I have a community of quality black belts vouching for my methods here. So we know that this system is going to work. We've already started applying it. My daughter, for example, is already at purple belt. And actually, this is a good opportunity to talk about how we're changing the kids' belt structure. So we've talked in the past about the importance of treating children respectfully, and how treating them in a lot of ways like adults helps them, prime them for learning. But we also understand that children are very easily distracted and it's hard to keep them engaged. So what we've done is we've discarded the standard child belt ranking system and we've replaced it with a mirror of the adult belt ranking system so that kids can really understand and see themselves at the same quality level as adults. That means that your daughter or your son can get a blue belt, a purple belt, a brown belt, even a black belt. Your daughter can have a black belt. We can do that for you.
Guys, we definitely have heard a lot of your voices about criticism about the IBJJF system. And to be honest, the kids system, the IBJJF kids belts, it's a racket. It's unnecessary. It's a way that they're trying to get your money. And it's just, it's not really beneficial to them in any way. So our goal is we are going to be offering junior black belts possibly by the age of 15. And a junior black belt from Steve and I is something that is basically a brown belt at any world-class studio, except you don't have to leave your home. You can do the classes with your child and, introduce them to social media at certain ages to get their credits up. Of course.
Yeah. It's also a great opportunity to get your kids introduced into social media and spending quality time on there, because of course, as part of this model, they're going to have to spend a significant amount of time on social media and posting videos of themselves on YouTube. And that is such an important part of modern day life. So we want to really help prime your children for success in the future above and beyond just jiu-jitsu.
We got to prime the kids for screen time. It is part of our model, and it's going to, in the end, it's going to pay off when they get their black belt, a junior black belt at the age of 15. And then of course, when they're that age of 15, they're going to be also IBJJF recognized, as we have already spoken with the IBJJF. And it's something that, we want to take to the next level and become legitimate. BJJ Globetrotters is clearly not around anymore because they're not legit. They don't have a legit 2 black belts that are able to pull these kind of strings with IBJJF. But, you know, our system is different. And the reason that it's different is because it's personalized and it's 100% legit.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So one other thing on that note that is worth discussing is tournaments. You know, as you know, at this point in time, obviously tournaments are just a no-go worldwide, but tournaments are a very important part of jiu-jitsu. And really that's where we shake out who's good and who's not. And I don't think jiu-jitsu would have gotten to where it was if not for the fact that tournaments effectively force the cream to rise to the top. Now, the concern is because of self-quarantine, we're in a situation where we're just not going to have those for a while, but we don't want the art to suffer. So because we've put all of this effort into creating a quality virtual class environment, we also want to take that to the next level and create a quality virtual tournament environment as well. So we haven't quite sorted out all of the details on this yet, but we are going to come up with a way where you and other similarly ranked competitors can have a full tournament experience from the comfort of your own home using our framework. Now, of course, but we need to make sure that all of our practitioners adhere to a certain level of quality. So all of the students participating in the BJJ Mental Models tournament structure must be registered under the BJJ Mental Models academies because we can't afford to water down the art here. So that means that, of course, all of these people will need to be registered and will have to pay the affiliate fee for us. But this is all to make sure that we have a consistent quality standard and it's for the safety of the athletes themselves.
Yeah, the athletes will also need to go through rules meeting fees. They will need to understand all of the IBJJF rules. They will have to go through annual BJJ Mental Models fees as well as monthly fees.
And of course, recertification, because we want to make sure that they all keep up to date with the latest knowledge and that they don't lapse.
Yeah, and they also need to reach a certain score on belt checker as well, because
Absolutely.
Otherwise then they're just not legit, right? So there's a few things that we're working out. We haven't quite figured it out yet, but just understand that this will be, very similar to the tournaments that old school practitioners used to do, where unfortunately we can't do it right now because there's no way for us to compete against each other. All the tournaments are shut down, but this will be a way that you can test yourself, put yourself in uncomfortable situations and growth through discomfort of competition, as we talk about.
Yeah, it's a different type of discomfort, of course. It's virtual discomfort. But I mean, that's, as Henry Gracie said with his academy, that's maybe we can't fully get to the point that we used to be at, but what we offer is a reasonable supplement to continue your training and continue your advancement. And I do believe that if you spend the 10 years going from white to black belt under our model, that you will be a black belt at least equivalent to what Henry Gracie could produce. Yeah. So we haven't exactly sorted out how the tournament structure is going to work. I mean, obviously it gets a bit tricky when you don't have your opponent in the same room as you. We're looking at other models, like, for example, random number generation, or maybe like what Dungeons and Dragons does, something where there's kind of an agreed upon decision as to who got the takedown, who locked up the position. And of course, how exactly that is going to be reffed, we don't know. But we will figure out a way to fully simulate the training experience completely online without having the other opponent in the same room as you.
Yeah, and the way that we were sort of thinking it is, as the matches are going on, as moves are being performed, you will be asked on the spot to tell where's the lever, where's the posture structure base, yes. How are you breaking your opponent's posture structure base, and basically conceptually explain your moves. Yes. And this is how we're going to ensure that you have the information and you have a proper understanding.
Yeah. So if you cannot explain it, then obviously you didn't have the move, right? So if you're on the other end of the webcam, Matt, and I'm facing you, I need to be able to fully explain and quickly exactly how I will execute a double leg takedown with alignment. And I need to be able to explain that before you explain how you countered it.
Exactly.
And that's
there will be counters.
Yes. And that's how our certified referee will decide who the points are awarded to and whether or not the double was countered.
Yeah. Now let's just talk about the certified referee program as well, because there's going to be BJJ Mental Models certified referees courses going on. And basically after you reach a certain amount of credits and you've been a BJJ Mental Models black belt for a certain amount of time, you will be asked if you want to referee. This will, of course, be a paid gig. There will be lots of opportunities to grow within BJJ Mental Models, but it's something that we're going to be doing, offering our competitors so that they have that real tournament experience with a knowledgeable IBJJF and BJJ Mental Models certified referee.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, a big part of that program, the referee will, of course, be an integral part of the tournament. And as part of that, they will be required to be involved in things like the setup and the tear down and the management. Those aspects are not paid, but of course, that is part of the responsibility that is carried with being a referee. And of course, just like with getting stripe promotions and belt promotions, the referee will also be expected to bring in referrals because that is part of how we grow the art as a whole.
That's right. And one thing I'm really excited about running our own tournaments as well as the academy is we can make the rules how we want. So for now, we can do gi and no gi, reaping, heel hooks in the gi, all that stuff is now allowed. You still can't put your fingers inside the gi pants though, because that's just dangerous. But aside from that, we can make the rules everything that we're basically hoping the IBJJF to be. So, and we're open to criticism too. If there's rule sets that you guys want to see, we can definitely modify things like that. But for now, we're trying to make things as legit as possible, having real black belt referees, black belt excellence is always going to be our goal for this, guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. The whole goal here is to funnel you to the black belt. That is ultimately the path here for you. Now let's talk about what you do once you get to black belt. I mean, of course, part of the natural life cycle of a jiu-jitsu practitioner, once you achieve that professor status, you're probably going to want to create your own gym. That's just expected. And the good news is we can accommodate that. So part of the BJJ Mental Models Virtual Academy, we've also rolled out an affiliate gym program. So if you want to create your own BJJ Mental Models local virtual gym franchise, you can do that through us. Of course, that will require you to go from white all the way through black belt under our system and to meet all of the requirements therein. And at that point, we will also set you up with a virtual BJJ Mental Models online storefront academy, which of course we will, there's a charge for that. And we will also provide virtual gis to all of your students, which of course there is also a charge for.
Yes, so the gis will be mandatory, and that's just to enforce branding and loyalty, and also having BJJ Mental Models as your franchise and your gym logo is tried, tested, and true because our brand is so legit. I know what you're thinking. You're probably, at home, you're a purple belt under Andre or whoever, Marcelo, and you're probably saying, well, I'm really interested in switching over to this, guys, but I'm already a purple belt, and you said that I have to start from white belt to black belt. So I know that you've put in that time, but we really need your loyalty, and we need you to have the transparency and the mindfulness to be able to demote yourself to white belt, because it's just not this. It's not going to be the same level of quality that we can offer you. We need to make sure that we're there for your journey the entire way, and only we can decide when you've done enough referrals and social media posts to get to the next stripes.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak poorly about Andre or John Danaher or Gary Tonin or any of these guys, but you have to understand their area of expertise was physical in-person jiu-jitsu. Matt and I have been doing this virtual thing a lot longer than them, and this is our area of expertise. They can't compete with us here, and what we offer is a completely different virtual experience.
Well, I mean, you talk about virtual experience, but the people might forget that we have a background in traditional jiu-jitsu too.
I know.
We got our black belts in the old school.
But that's how we discovered the limitations, right?
Yeah. The physical jiu-jitsu is our specialty, but now we have the virtual online academy as well. So we see things from both ends of the spectrum. We see the pros and cons of both, and there's just not a lot of cons for the virtual academy. Also, we mentioned there will be a cost for the stripe fees, the stripe testing, but also you will be required to supply your own hockey tape as well.
Yeah. Well, now that said, virtual hockey tape is also an option if you cannot obtain physical hockey tape. We can provide virtual hockey tape, and we will just add that to your monthly charge. Same with the virtual gis as well. In general, one of the big benefits to this program is because the gis and the hockey tape and everything and the belts are all virtual, it's much better for the environment. And because they're virtual, that allows us to offer them to you at a much reduced cost from what you would actually have to pay if they were real.
That's right. So I think, if you get a gi from your academy, it could be anywhere from $180 to $220. This will be $150 virtual gi.
Yeah.
But it will have the BJJ Mental Models patch on it. All of our insignia will be there, the branding, the loyalty, and also the belts will have BJJ Mental Models branding on it as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you can really buy into that brand, and we can all look like a team.
Yeah. Now, one thing that you're probably wondering, of course, is about cost and payment, and we've streamlined this as much as possible. I mean, I'm proud to say that the way that we structure payment is way above and beyond not only what our competition offers, but really what has ever been done before. So we do not require you to send us a check or give us money. We do not require you to even give us your credit card number or your PayPal. All you need to do is put us in touch with your employer, and we will just work out directly a procedure under which we will just garnish from your wages the amount that is required to support your membership. So you don't even need to actually think about cost. You don't even need to worry about providing payment information. This will just automatically be handled just like the way that you pay taxes.
Yeah, and the amazing part about virtual academies, guys, is that you never have to worry about things like injuries that take time away from your training. All the time, maybe if you get an injury, you're out for a month or two. That's time that you can now, you don't have to worry about that. And you can put that into jiu-jitsu and get even closer to your black belt in less amount of time. You never have to worry about things like cauliflower ears or broken tendons in your fingers or things like that. If you go travel, you can take this with you on vacation and still work your way towards that black belt. So you're never missing time.
Yeah. And even if you do get injured somehow, of course you won't get injured doing our virtual jiu-jitsu because it's not real. But if you do get injured somehow, then the nice thing is because our jiu-jitsu training program is virtual, you can continue to train even if you have a very serious injury, right? Because it's just all completely virtual. You don't have to worry about an opponent possibly hurting you. You don't have to worry about actually sparring because it is all completely online and completely virtual. You can continue to train regardless of your whether or not you've been injured somehow.
Yeah, it's a really exciting program, guys. And I know you're thinking, oh, well, what about when this virus, when it's over and we can go back to physical training again? I just don't see the point in that when what we offer is going to be so far superior to your instructor's program. Remember, this is a brand new technology. It is virtual online academy, and everything that you can get from white belt to black belt is here. And our goal is black belt excellence.
Yes. And if you have any concerns about exactly, how effective these techniques are, I mean, again, we will be running a full and comprehensive virtual tournament program. We will shake out immediately who is successful here and who doesn't. So when you see some badass just cleaning up in the virtual tournaments, there's no question that in person, this person would also be able to just dominate as well, right?
Yeah. And another thing that these people get when they sign up with us, Steve, is they're going to get weekly seminars from us online. Of course, that will come at a cost.
Yeah, of course. But for existing members, there will be a discount package, and people don't even need to worry about that because it will just tie right into the garnishment.
Yeah. Our online seminars will go from everything from, of course, technical jiu-jitsu to business building, pedagogy, kids classes, things like that. And it's going to be from the ground up, everything you need to get a business up and running successfully from white to black belt, and then using the BJJ Mental Models branding to take it to start your own online academy. Which,
Absolutely.
Of course, there will be a fee for.
Of course. Well, I mean, this is the way that, much like how the IBJJF is employed, this is the way that we ensure uniform quality is. We have to make sure that we are applying diligence to all of the other gyms and all of the other tournaments running under the BJJ Mental Models brand. So, but of course, it's not free to provide that service. So in order to ensure that they contain that level of excellence that we require, we will have to charge a fee to all of them in order to apply and manage the registration. But that's just expected, of course.
Yeah. I'm so excited about this.
I'm really excited. I mean, we will be launching this formally within the next day or so. So if you go to our website, you will see the whole virtual academy online. If you have trouble actually finding it on the website, do note that it is virtual. So you have to actually be able to adjust your thinking into that plane of existence.
Yeah. So stop wasting time now. Start thinking about the future. Start thinking about that black belt, because
Definitely.
we can get you there.
Yep.
If you guys have listened from the beginning of the show till now, you guys know that we're legit.
Yeah, and you're probably already at blue belt level just from listening to the beginning of the show up till now. We can get you the rest of the way.
Yeah, without ever getting injured, without ever getting, ever having to roll with anyone.
Yep, without ever having to leave the house. And isn't that what we want?
Yeah, I mean, jiu-jitsu is really all about efficiency when you break it down. And what could be more efficient than just never leaving your house?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, I'm excited. Are you excited, Matt?
I'm excited.
Awesome. Okay. More information coming soon. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. I hope you take advantage of this. Me and Steve have been working really hard on this. So take care and thanks for listening.
Take care.